Hello, I'm back on YouTube. I know I've been gone for about 2 weeks here. Been pretty busy lately, but I did notice that I did gain some followers, subscribers on here on YouTube who have never heard of me before. If that's you, welcome. I'm a transmedicalist. I do a lot of content revolving trans politics, sometimes general politics too. And if you're completely new here and you've liked my previous video and you watch this video and you go, oh my god, this guy is cool, I agree with a lot of his things, or you're just interested, my TikTok is at the truth about two. I'll probably put it on the screen or something. But in this video here today, I take a trans political test because I've gotten a lot of questions regarding like how extreme I really am. And I think this would be a great way to kind of address that and answer a lot of very general trans political questions and a lot of points, just kind of in one, make kind of a political platform, if you will. So let's get into that. Today I'm going to be taking the Transaxes test. I believe I've done this before. If not, I used to be really into these kinds of tests, typically made on GitHub, I believe, and they're super fun. So here we have the things they'll be testing for: too cute versus transmed, right versus left, vocalize versus low profile, liberation versus assimilation, concrete versus abstract, and zoomer versus boomer. I like to believe I know what most of these are: identity, political, visibility, societal, philosophy, and mindset. Should be pretty simple, and I feel like maybe, especially on the 2Q transmed side of things, it'll come up with some topics that maybe might be interesting to discuss. Xenogenders are not valid gender identities. I'd say that I agree with that. They're not. Far less sentiments in the trans community are bad. They can be. I don't know, I'd say probably agree. Probably, if there was like one between agree and neutral, I'd probably put that. The trans community should tolerate a wide spectrum of identities. Probably not. Probably not. Trans public figures with large followings in real life or online are a positive influence. I feel like a lot of trans influencers spread ideologies that I don't really agree with. I feel like right now, probably not. I do like some trans med influencers, though. I'm not going to name names. Being trans can be a choice, and that's okay. Strongly disagree. It's dysphoria ridden. You could choose to transition, but being trans is not a choice. I talk a lot about my identity as a trans person and what it means to me. I think that's probably true. I do, but not in like I talk about it in an educational, political way, not in a this is how I feel way, you know? Hoodie wearing isn't a that's a weird way to put that. But yeah, trans people should avoid the public eye, probably at this point. No one is trans just because they say so. I understand and appreciate the humor besides trans-related me. Yeah, typically I do. Quizzes like this are a waste of time. They can be. A privatized healthcare system benefits trans people. I'm not really sure on that one. Binary trans people are not problematic. 100%. That's not. No. To preserve the integrity of its struggles, the trans community must actively gatekeep itself from trans trenders. Absolutely. I prefer the times when trans-related topics were outside of mainstream discussion. We shouldn't be in mainstream politics. We're much smaller than that. Society will always be cis-normative, and trans people should make peace with that. Absolutely. Certain social hierarchies, such as wealth and poverty, are natural and justified. Wow, we're getting real political here. The working class should seize the means of production. I'm not getting that political. I'm comfortable with trans people who do not pass well. Uncomfortable is kind of a weird word to put that. I'd say like probably I'm comfortable being with them, you know, friends, but I think people who don't pass well, who want to remain unpassing, are weird. Trans people should stop making fun of making themselves manageable for cis-normative society. It's not gonna do anything. Not all transphobia is readily visible. Yeah. Advocating too radically for liberation can harm the trans community. Yeah, I think that's a lot of what's going on right now. Undergoing shifts in philosophical worldview is inevitably part of the trans experience. I don't think so. I don't think being trans is inherently political. Right-wing ideas have no place in the trans community. I strongly disagree with that. I think that everything can have place in the trans community. You know, I think I have a place. I think 2Qs have a place. When educating cis people on trans-related issues, the one-on-one conversation is more powerful than the public statement. I think so. I personally do a lot of one-on-one stuff with cis people. I do a lot of one-on-one stuff with Two Cutes to try to educate, try to change. Um, Depressed trans people should urge themselves to take action in improving their lives. I think so. I think that can be 4chan and it's entirely including TTTT should be avoided. I've been on that board before. I'm not a big 4chan user, for the record, before the accusations start. But it's not that bad. It's bad, but it's not terrible. The average trans person just wants to live their life without being a vocal activist. I think a lot of trans people feel that way, where we're put on this sort of when a lot of people interact with a trans person, they say they mark them as a political activist and feel free to rapid fire a billion political questions and debate them. And not everyone wants to have their identity ridiculed on a daily basis just whenever they tell someone they're trans. So I think it's entirely ridiculous to do something like that. Transition goals should be realistic. Yeah. Ratioing transphobes online is a valid. That's so weird. Non-binary is a valid gender identity. I kind of stray with a lot of transmeds on that, where I do think non-binary is valid, but I don't go any further than male, female, and non-binary. I don't. The trans communities on Twitter and Discord should be avoided. Discord trans communities I have experience with. There's one server that I'm in where you will actually get banned if you say that you need dysphoria to be trans. Like if you just pop into the general channel and you go, you need dysphoria to be trans, it's over. But I own my own Discord server for my little community, I suppose. So I think Discord is. I can't speak on Twitter though, so I don't think. I know what Blaha is. I do know what Blaha is. Fun fact: I speak Swedish, so I'm familiar with that. Just because I like going to IKEA to dive into the culture, but I do know what Blaha is because I'm on Discord. Sadly, being trans makes people politically shift leftward, and that's good. It makes them shift leftward, typically, yes. But that's not a good thing always. I wouldn't say that's good. I suppose that is a statement here. This is a statement, and then the question is here. So, no. Stringent medical evaluations for gender dysphoria is good. Absolutely. The Minecraft beast. See, this shit like this is just fucking rid. What does that mean? You know? Like, what does that mean? From each according to their ability to each according to their needs. That's slightly more political than I'd want to get into, and I'm not going to elaborate on that. Trans people nowadays face lesser challenges in life compared to trans people decades ago. Absolutely, we are extremely privileged. We've moved a lot since Stonewall, and pre-Stonewall, where trans people just couldn't exist. I think we've done a very good job. The internet, so far, up until a few years back, Tumblr age, I think we were doing really good up until then. The internet and its consequences have been a disaster for the trans community. That's what I was just saying, yeah. Being visibly trans is good. I think that's a personal decision. Me, myself, I don't like being visibly trans, and I think a lot of people who are visibly trans happen to be too cute as well. A mellower approach to activism benefits the trans community. Yeah, I think so, absolutely. I think the more radical you are and the more loud you are with shit, it's gone completely haywire. It's why things are the way they are now, because we've gotten too rowdy, too extreme in a way, even. As a trans person, I prefer to keep my views on the world to myself. On the world, yes. On trans issues, no, which I think is what they're trying to find out, so I'm gonna say no. We should be skeptical of trans people who have the opportunity to medical transition, but do not do so. Absolutely. Transsexual is not an outdated term. Being trans in itself is not a physical experience, but a fully mental one. Dysphoria comes in both flavors, so I'd say no. Gender dysphoria is not a social construct, it's a real mental health condition that affects many people. Social equality is no less important than economic growth. No opinion. Capitalism is the trans person. See, being trans has nothing to do with mainstream politics necessarily, not economic politics like capitalism. So I'm going neutral because I don't want to talk about that. Educating cis people about trans related issues is important. I think so. I think a lot of cis people are severely misled about things. I talk to a lot of cis people about what it's like, what my opinions on being trans are, and if I say like, oh yeah, there's 3 genders, well, not even. Usually I blanket it and say that there's 2 genders because I see non-binary as kind of an outside, like there's the 2 main, and then non-binary is like the lack of gender. But I think a lot of cis people are really surprised by how much they might agree with a lot of trans politics, and by how rational a lot of trans people can actually be. Breaking taboos by speaking out against them is good. Mainstream trans activism suffers from cis appropriation. I think so. I think there was a moment there where it was just kind of a trend to put your pronouns in your bio, where I think pronouns are only really effective for non-passing trans people. And I think if you put your pronouns in your bio, you're kind of flagging to people that you're a trans person. Because I can tell when you're a trans person, a non-passing trans person, trying to signal that you're trans, or you're a passing trans person, or even a cis person putting their pronouns in your bio because you want to be a part of the movement. It's like the whole BLM in the bio thing. It's ridiculous. Yes, it does suffer from cis appropriation. Trans people, not cis people, should lead the dialogue on trans-related issues. I think so. I admire the participants of the Stonewall riots. Absolutely. I talk about them very often on TikTok, in my private life, on here. I absolutely do. It's okay for trans people to befriend cis people. Are there actually people who go strongly disagree? Being trans cannot be biologically explained. That's a weird one. Being trans can be explained by the mental health condition gender dysphoria. I don't think gender dysphoria is necessarily biological or influenced by your environment. I think it's something that just happens. So maybe it is biological. You need dysphoria to be trans, 100%. Certain aspects of the trans experience can be a source of humor. I think, as a lot of things, we find ourselves joking about the troubles, the hardships that being trans comes with, and I think that's valid. Vigilantly enforcing national unity under traditional values is a necessary answer to the leftism of modern age. I don't think so. Abolish gender roles. No. I prefer the older generations of trans activists over modern ones. I think I do. As I said, I follow transmed creators. I follow quite a few, actually. And some of them are older, and some of them are younger, some of them are my age or even younger. So, I don't think so. I think I like both. As members of the trans community, fighting for trans rights is a duty. Yeah, but I think it depends on what kind of trans rights we're talking about. I want to fight for the right to transition and, have medical transition still be a thing. But I don't think we should be applying that to, children or, the extremities are weird. So I think so. A duty is kind of a strong word here. I don't think it's necessarily a duty. I think it's something that... No, I don't think being trans is inherently political, and that's what that's implying. Certain people are simply better than others. No, that's weird. An unregulated market economy is important to healthy society. I don't get into economics typically when speaking about politics. Young trans people these days don't appreciate how much they get in life. Absolutely, you guys have been granted so many rights that many people did not get to have. As I said, the participants of the Stonewall riot, people before them, everything up until now has been way worse than it was. And we're getting bad again. We're getting really bad again. Being trans is better than being cis. No. Trans people should seek to assimilate into society instead of standing out. Absolutely. Trying to assimilate into society is to our benefit. Passing is a transphobic idea. Nope. Undergoing hormone therapy and medical procedures are inevitably a part of the trans experience. That's a weird way to put that, but yeah, I think so. Let's see where I stand. Strongly transmedacalist, yeah. Politically centrist, that's generally true. Mellow, low profile. I assume that means that I know that I want to pass. Social access, conservative, yeah, assimilation, 100%. Realist, and I'm a boomer, apparently. Even though I am a part of Gen Z. That's an interesting one. I think that's a good one. Anywho, I wanted to make this kind of a shorter video because I thought it would be a cool thing to go quickly over. I know that was kind of rapid fire, and I didn't really address things deeply. I thank you very much for watching. Those of you that are enjoying my YouTube content, I really appreciate it. If you'd subscribe to this channel, maybe even like the video. I know that's kind of something a lot of YouTubers say, but it would really show me that you do like it if you at least subscribe, maybe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good one.